Apple and Samsung are two of the biggest names in the world of smart devices. Their new gadgets and technology have left their mark on the world. Apple has built a culture around the release of its products, and fans now look forward to the company's annual announcements. It's not a surprise that they have a large market of people who buy their products and keep them up to date. When big companies like Apple, Google, and Samsung compete with each other by making different models with cheaper prices or better features and dividing their customers between the iOS and Android operating systems, it makes you wonder which one is the best. Apple has a 56% share of the US smartphone market, so it shouldn't be a surprise that iOS is a big reason why people keep coming back. Number 1. iPhones are user-friendly. Even though most people think Android phones are easy to use, iPhones are much better at keeping and attracting customers because their look and feel haven't changed much over the years. No matter if it's an old user coming back to iPhone or a new user who wants to switch, it's easy to use. The Tips app helps users learn about new features as they go. Number 2. Apple is the first to get new apps. Since Apple has a big share of the market and its operating system is known for being flexible and fast, developers like to release their apps and high-end games first on iOS and then on Android. Also, iOS runs on the same hardware every time, while Android has different versions and iterations for each phone. This can be a problem for people who want to make apps for Android. Consumers know that Apple's screening process is known for being safe and thorough. Even though Apple's strict App Store rules have been criticized, the walled garden makes sure that the apps people download are safe. Number 3. All iOS devices work well together. One thing that Apple has going for it is that all of its products work well together. This means that if you're connected to iCloud on your iPhone, iPad, MacBook, or Apple Watch, your data and contacts will always be with you, and any changes will be made instantly on all of your devices. You can even start sending messages on one device and finish them on another. Number 4. Features like iMessage and FaceTime are already built in. What makes iOS users stand out is that they don't need a third-party app to send messages or make voice or video calls over the internet. Users can stay in touch with friends and family who also use iOS devices by using apps and features like iMessage and FaceTime. The more Apple devices you have in your network, the better your communication will be. Number 5. Changes to iOS and Android. It's unlikely that a Samsung device will run smoothly for several years. This is mostly because an Android system update only works on a small number of devices, like flagship Samsung devices and mid-range models, leaving a lot of old model users out in the cold. This is especially true since many apps need current system updates to work. On the other hand, iOS updates target Apple devices from several years ago, which makes them easier to use and makes apps work better with them. Number 6. Apple's policy on trade-ins. Apple's trade-in and recycling policy lets people give their old devices to Apple stores or send them in the mail to get credit toward new products. This means that you can easily trade in any old iOS device and pay the difference to get a new one. This makes it much easier for a lot of Apple users to update their devices without having to worry as much about Apple's high prices. Once you buy into the Apple ecosystem the first time, it's easy to stay there. Number 7. Apple has strict rules about privacy and safety. Since the average American home has more than 10 connected devices, privacy and security are very important. Apple's refusal to give the FBI a backdoor is one of the best signs that the company cares about making a secure operating system. iOS is also very safe and secure because it has a built-in password manager, biometric security like Face ID and Touch ID, and encryption for iMessage. Number 8. iOS doesn't have any extra stuff. When setting up a new device, it's common for iPhones and iPads to have fewer built-in apps than Android devices, whose stock apps can fill up to 3 menu pages. These extra apps, which are called bloatware, end up taking up several gigabytes of space that is already scarce. Apple devices only come with a few apps, but the user can easily delete, rearrange, and add new ones. Number 9. iOS has a unique user interface. Apple, on the other hand, has its own unique user interface with iTunes, Apple ID, the App Store, Apple TV, iCloud, and many more. Most Samsung devices that run Android do so because Google bought them and worked with them. They don't need to work with anyone else to improve their product. Number 10. The iPhone is in a class by itself. Apple's marketing is top-notch, so having an Apple product makes you feel elegant and classy. The sleek design, high-quality materials, and fun colors give it a unique feel that no other Samsung device can match. There is no right or wrong answer to the question of which company is better for a given person. But if you want a clear answer, Apple is your best option and the way to go.